praying salah. Finishes her salah. She sees her kid and she says, my son, before I embrace you, let me pray 2 rakat to Allah, to thank Allah that you have come back and you've accomplished your mission. Children are born from the pious mothers. The first madrasa any child goes to is the lap of their mother. That is the first madrasa. Imam Bukhari didn't just become Bukhari like that. He had his mother's dua behind him. Abu Hanifa didn't become Abu Hanifa like that. Mother's dua. Ahmad bin Hanbal didn't become Ahmad bin Hanbal like that. Mother's dua. Musa alayhi salam didn't become Musa like that. Mother's dua. Maryam alayhi salam didn't become Maryam like that. Mother's dua. Everywhere you'll see excellence is brought in through the dua. May Allah give us all the ability to capture these dua.
هنالك دعا زكريا ربه قال رب هب لي من لدنك ذرية طيبة إنك سميع الدعاء. So now Zakaria alayhi salam sees Maryam alayhi salam with this magical, miraculous sustenance and fruits and food around her. So he says Allah can do anything. So he does dua to Allah and says, Ya Allah, I'm over 100 and I don't have kids. Bless me with a child. There were 3 miraculous births in this story, by the way. People think Jesus is the only miraculous birth. There were 3 miraculous births. One was Maryam alayhi salam, one was Yahya alayhi salam, one was Isa alayhi salatu was salam. So now he's making this dua. What does this teach us? Sometimes even a scholar can learn from a person who's not a scholar. Al-hikmatu dhallatul mu'min. We can learn from anything, anyone can teach us something. Education is everywhere. Zakaria alayhi salam is prophet, is uncle, but he's taking a huge lesson from his niece, who is much younger. This also shows us that in knowledge, there is no concept of age. Knowledge is only on vastness. It's not about who's older, who's younger. Ye to hamare ghar ka bachcha hai, ye to abhi tak itna chota hai. Doesn't matter how chota, bada, this and that. Allah has given them a ni'mah, Allah has given them a ni'mah. Knowledge is something that turns slaves into kings and kings into slaves. Knowledge is something that turns the young into old and the old into young. Knowledge is something that gives position. It gives status to the ones who have no status. Hassan al-Basri, born to a slave family, but Hassan al-Basri's name is on the tongue of every single individual who studies hadith. The man eclipsed and became a giant in hadith, became a king in hadith. How? It was knowledge. رضينا قسمة الجبار فينا لنا علم وللجهال مال فإن المال يفني عن قريب وإن العلم باق لا يزال. The Arabic poet says, رضينا, I'm grateful, قسمة الجبار فينا, that the distribution Allah has given us. لنا علم وللجهال مال. Allah has blessed us with knowledge and blessed the others with wealth. فإن المال يفني عن قريب. Wealth will soon decrease. وَإِنَّ الْعِلْمَ بَاقٍ لَا يَزَالُ. And knowledge will always remain and stay. Someone went to a bald person who didn't have hair on his head. And they said, you had hair on his head? He said, brother, you don't have hair on your head. So he took this poem and he altered it. He said, رَضِينَا قِسْمَةَ الْجَبَّارِ فِينَا. I'm grateful for what Allah has distributed between you and me. لَنَا غَنْجٌ وَلِلْجُهَالِ بَالُ. We have ganj, we're bald, and the others, juhal, they have bal, they have hair. فَإِنَّ الْبَالَ يَفْنِي عَنْ قَرِيبٍ. Your hair will soon reduce and not remain and also disappear. وَإِنَّ الْغَنْجَ بَاقٍ لَا يَزَالُ. And us bald, it will always remain like this, alhamdulillah. Positivity. هنالك دعا زكريا ربه قال رب هب لي من لدنك ذرية طيبة. Oh my Allah, give me a child that is righteous. إنك سميع الدعاء. You are the one who listens to dua. فنادته الملائكة. The malaika called out وهو قائم يصلي في المحراب. While he was praying in his mihrab. أن الله يبشرك بيحيى. Allah is blessing you with Yahya. Allah named Yahya alayhi salam. When you name children, Yahya is a beautiful name. Allah chose that name himself. أن الله يبشرك بيحيى مصدقا بكلمة من الله. He's here to affirm the words of Allah. وسيدا, and he's going to be a leader. وحسورا, he's not going to be inclined to the opposite gender. He's not going to have any desires, any intimate desires. He's going to be genuinely only desires of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No other desire of this dunya he will have in him. وَنَبِيًّا مِّنَ الصَّالِحِينَ, you're a prophet and your son will also be a prophet. Imagine, as a prophet you get to know that your son has also been chosen as a Nabi. Everyone sees their children's successes, but there is no success knowing that Allah says your child gets to be a Nabi too. Imagine how happy and proud the parent is knowing their child is a Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال ربي أنى يكون لي غلام وقد بلغني الكبر وامرأتي عاقر. Oh my Allah, how can I have a child? I am really old, and my daughter and my wife, she is barren, she can't have kids. قال كذلك, this is the same way. كذلك الله يفعل ما يشاء. Allah does as He pleases, and Allah does whatever He wants. قال رب اجعل لي آية. Oh my Allah, give me a sign. قال آيتك ألا تكلم الناس ثلاثة أيام إلا رمزا. Your sign is that you won't be able to talk to people for 3 days. You won't be able to speak and communicate. So only through indications, but I will make you mute. This is when you know that you're about to have a child. واذكر ربك كثيرا, remember your Allah a lot. وسبح بالعشي والإبكار, and praise Allah in the evening and in the morning. وإذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم. Now they spoke about one miraculous birth, now the 3 miraculous births in a succession. Maryam alayhi salam, Yahya alayhi salam, and then Isa alayhi salam. Chronologically it's going. وإذ قالت الملائكة, when Jibreel alayhi salam came and he said, Ya Maryam, O Maryam, Inna Allah as-safaki, Allah has chosen you, wa tahharaki, and Allah has purified you. This is good qualities in a woman. Purity is a good quality. This is why the angel is using this as a ni'mah to Maryam alayhi salam before he tells us of the ni'mah of Isa alayhi salam. Do dua of inner and outer purity. وَاصْطَفَاكِ عَلَى نِسَاءِ الْعَالَمِينَ, and He has chosen you amongst the women of all the world. Allah has made you special, Maryam. يا مريم قنتي لربك واسجدي واركعي مع الراكعين. O Maryam, do dua to your Allah, do sajda to Him, do ruku' to Him, and pray with everyone. واركعي مع الراكعين, pray with every single person, be in the jama'ah. ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْغَيْبِ نُوحِيهِ إِلَيْكَ, these are from the hidden that we are telling you. You didn't know this. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يُلْقَوْنَ أَقْلَامَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ يَكْفُلُ مَرْيَمْ. You weren't there when they dropped their pens and they said, who is going to take care of Maryam? Who was dropping? Who got chosen? Zakaria alayhi salam. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يَخْتَصِمُونَ, and you weren't there when they started fighting with each other, saying that we want to be the one who takes care of her. وَيُكَلِّمُونَ إِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةِ, and when the malaika said, Ya Maryam, O Maryam, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُبَشِّرُكِ بِكَلِمَةٍ مِّنْ, Allah is giving you glad tidings of a word from Him. اسمه المسيح, His name is Masih Isa banu Maryam. وجيها في الدنيا والآخرة, He's going to be a man of status in the dunya and in the akhirah. ومن المقربين, and He's close to us. What is Dajjal called? What's his nickname? Masih. What is Isa alayhi salam called? How could both have the same nickname? Anyone ever think about this? How can they both have Dajjal and Isa alayhi salam? Complete opposites. How can they have the same name? Does anyone know the answer? This is a very good trivia question. The trivia that I do in the evening. Masaha has many meanings to it. One meaning of masaha is to wipe. Isa alayhi salam was called Masih because he could wipe someone's face and the blind could see. He was called Masih as well is because Masaha also means to travel. And he traveled extensively for da'wah. Masaha means to be wiped. Dajjal is called Masih Dajjal is because one of his eyes will be wiped and it will be completely shut and the other will be like a grape. He's Mamsuh al-Ayn, the one whose eye is wiped. And he's also called Masih is because Dajjal will travel the earth for 40 days. The Prophet ﷺ said the first day will feel like a year. The second day will feel like a month. Third day like a week. And the fourth day on and on will each be like one day. And Dajjal will come to this earth from Dajjal. Dajjal means deception. And all he's going to do, everything will be deception. What seems good is bad for you. What seems bad is good for you. And we see this in the life right now, in our life around us. The things we're attracted to, they're bad for us. You like Coke, it's bad for you. It's Dajjal. But you like it. You know it's bad, but you still have it. And then, you know salad is good for you. But then we only use salad for garnish. And that's it. I went the other day to have iftar somewhere. And there were a few imams sitting down. MashaAllah, everyone, biryani, chicken tikka, kebab, this, that. And then you had one, Imam Umar Sulaiman. He had all salad around and one little meat over there. And I said, Imam, this is the difference between your size and our size. I said, this is why you're thin and we're not. It's because you eat the food of what the goats and the chicken are eating. And we eat their food and we eat them too. We eat the whole cycle. Attend Imam Azhar Subadar's class is going to start happening after Asr. We're going to talk about Dajjal, Yajuj, Majuj and all of that stuff. So attend that class. I think it begins, when is it? Wednesday the 22nd to the 3rd after Asr Salah. Right here, right? 5:30 to 7. It's a pretty cool class. And Imam Azhar has some pretty radical ideas about Yajuj and Majuj. They're pretty radical. I don't agree with some of them, but that's the interesting thing, right? That a scholar will have their opinions, and it's really interesting to listen to them. Really, really interesting. But I think you should just go there to really see how much depth knowledge has. So I'm really excited for that class, and I hope that a lot of you will be there for it, inshallah.
وَيُكَلِّمُ النَّاسَ فِي الْمَهْدِ وَكَهْلًا وَمِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And he will speak to the people while he's in a cradle. وَكَهْلًا. And kahla is in a mature age. وَمِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And he is from the righteous. قالت رب أنى يكون لي ولد ولم يمسسني بشر. Oh my Allah, how can I have a child and no man has ever touched me? How many can say no man has ever touched me, no woman has ever touched me? وَلَمْ يَمْسَسْنِي بَشَرٌ. Who can say this? قَالَ كَذَلِكِ اللَّهُ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah makes whatever He desires. إِذَا قَضَى أَمْرًا فَإِنَّمَا يَقُولُ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. When Allah wants and desires something, He says be, and it becomes. وَيُعَلِّمُهُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَالتَّوْرَاةَ وَالْإِنْجِيلَ. He will teach him the book, the hikmah, the Tawrat and the Injil. Look, Isa ﷺ taught the Bible in his life. The Bible that they have is not the Bible that Isa ﷺ taught. Because when I used to live in Houston, there was a bunch of Christians that booked an apartment in a Muslim complex. And they used to give da'wah. And they had a pamphlet that said, look, the Quran says that you believe in the Injil. This is the Injil. So you have to believe in this Bible. So then, they were doing this in every home. And someone came and told me, I said, Mufti Sahib, this is what's happening. I said, call them to the masjid. They got excited. If we get their imam, we'll get the whole congregation. So they came. And we began talking. We became such close friends. We started going for dinners and meals, and We went to their church, they would come to the masjid, they'd come, attend Jum'ahs. One of them messaged me, saw my Hajj package. He said, can I go for Hajj? He didn't even ask for a discount. You know the Muslims discount. A non-Muslim is saying, I will give it what Hajj fees too, Qurbani, I have to give Qurbani as well, I have that as well, inshallah. And one thing he didn't say, I need to go to Pakistan after, or India after. Hajj was the only thing he wanted to do. I remember we used to sit in a restaurant and we would talk. And we would talk about 3 hours, 4 hours. The staff, the other people in the restaurant whose food was done, they would just be sitting and listening. And we would go back and forth on, it was very respectful. There was Hebrew scholars, biblical scholars. It was a very interesting discussion. We're academics. At the end, they said one thing to me. They said, we cannot prove our religion academically. Islam can prove itself academically, intellectually. It's emotional. And that's a very big statement coming from a Hebrew scholar. The Bible, the Christians believe the Bible is basically like what we call hadith. What the Sahaba saw the Prophet and they document it, this is hadith. They consider the New Testament to be like hadith, that Matthew and Luke and Paul and all these, even though Paul never saw him, but all of these, they went and they wrote all of these points down. Okay. Majority of the Bible is from which disciple? Who? Paul. Paul has a huge influence on Christianity. However, what was Paul called before? What was he called? What was he called? You didn't take history class in school? No? Saul. He was called Saul. It wasn't that hard. You had to take the P and put an S there. So now he was a person who persecuted Christians. He's the brainchild behind the whole Trinity and the whole crucifixion and all of that. He's the brainchild behind it. He was known as someone who would kill and abuse and beat Christians. Until one day he says, however, Christianity kept on growing. Until one day he says, he never saw Jesus, he never saw Isa alayhi salam. One day he says, I was walking and I became blind. And Jesus came in a vision to me and said, you will not get your eyesight back until one of my followers doesn't touch you. So he says, I kept on walking blind until one Christian touched me and then I got my eyesight back. And then I knew I was saved. And then he became the strong person of Christianity, started writing the Bible, and then started. Now think about it. He used to kill Christians, but now he's becoming the one who's giving them their text, giving them what to study. So he realized that through force I can't deceive them, but let me become one of them like a munafiq and then deceive them. So now, all those radical views that did not exist in the original time of Isa are born from him. Now, there's an objection on this story. And that is, how can you say that Paul became a fake Christian and he was a munafiq and, he made all these things up in Christianity? Did Umar bin al-Khattab not want to kill the Prophet ﷺ? And did he not become a Muslim? And did he not give so much to Islam and shape Islam in so many ways and so many manners? What's the answer to this objection? So what's the difference between one meeting the Prophet and not meeting the Prophet? He said, okay. Anyone else? He was what? Loyal, okay. Go ahead. What did she say? All of that is there. Umar had the chance to kill the Prophet on multiple occasions, but his sword was always there to defend the Prophet ﷺ. His loyalty was proven. You can't prove me Paul's loyalty. I can prove you his motive, but I can't prove his loyalty. Umar radiallahu anhu went to kill him, but he had
20 years after that, he became Muslim at the 6th year of Hijrah. So he has 17 years to do something to the Prophet. He never touched the Prophet in 17 years. Paul was killing them, saw it wasn't working, because when you kill someone to become a martyr, they're glorified. And it inspires and motivates other people. So then they said that, okay, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them and then mess them up from inside. So now, there are so many versions of the Bible. In the 4th century, there was the Council of Nicaea. And what they did was that they grabbed all the Bibles and they had this big scholarly debate about 300 years after Isa alayhi salam. So there's too many versions of the Bible. What do we do? So they all put them inside a room, and this is real. This is like real stuff I'm saying. They said, whichever Bible ends up on the top, we lock the door, close the door, leave. Whichever Bible's on the top, that's the Bible we're going to choose. Who has the keys to the door? And that's how they started unifying around one Bible. But all the Bibles are not unified. Not all the chapters are unified. Not all the Gospels are unified. Not all the sections are unified. There is no certainty on which Bible is the Bible. Whereas in the Quran, whether you're Sunni, whether you're this or that, doesn't matter what faction you are, everyone reads the same Quran. If I tell him to recite from one part and tell him to recite from one part, identical Quran they're reciting today to 14 centuries from now.
ورسولا إلى بني إسرائيل أني قد جئتكم بآية من ربكم, and I'm a messenger towards Banu Israel. أني قد جئتكم, I've come to you with signs from your Allah. إني أخلق لكم من الطين كهيئة الطير. He would sculpt from dirt into a bird sculpture. فأنفخ فيه فيكون طيرا بإذن الله. Then he would blow in it and he would say, live with the permission of Allah. And then this bird would come to life and it would begin floating. So imagine he would go to the dirt, sculpt a bird. Master sculpture. And then he would put it there and he would say, and the bird would come to life. It would be idhnillah. This is with the permission of Allah. Isa did some great miracles, amazing miracles. After the Prophet ﷺ, the most uniquest miracles exist with Isa ﷺ. The most superhero type of miracles. And you could just create a sculpture and breathe life into it through the will of Allah. That's OG right there. That's pretty cool. Okay, then what's his next thing?
وَأُبْرِئُ الْأَكْمَهَ وَالْأَبْرَصَ. I can cure the blind and the ones who have skin diseases by just wiping my hands, bi-iznillah, with the permission of Allah. In those days, they didn't need any what is that called? Follizer, what is it? The one? Exfoliate, yeah. They don't need to put any masks or anything on their face. They go to Isa Islam, pimples removed. Bi-iznillah. Clear skin. Ubarihul abras is white liver disease though.
وَأُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ.
And I give life to the death with the permission of Allah. He went by, I believe it was Sam ibn Nuh or Ham ibn Nuh, the son of Nuh alayhi salam. He was buried there and he died young. So he said, قُمْ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, rise with the permission of Allah. And then you had this person in their grave come back to life. Though he died with black hair, he was raised with white hair. And Isa a.s. said, did you not die with black hair? He said, I did. But the fear that the day of judgment was being called is what made my hair white. The fear that it was the day of judgment is what made me scared. And then he went back to death. It wasn't that Isa a.s. was bringing the dead back to life and they were just roaming around. No. He brought them back to life and then they went back to death. Otherwise, he wasn't going visiting graveyards and bringing population right back. No, he wasn't doing that. However, he had his sentence. He would say, قُمْ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, rise with the will of Allah. Now, people's words have different strength to them. Sometimes you can't say something to your children directly, but their friends can, or someone else can. Different people's words have different effects on people. Parents come to me, please tell my child, and then they give this whole line to say. उन्हीं की महफिल सवार रहा हूं, रात उनका है चराग मेरा। उन्हीं की महफिल सवार रहा हूं, रात उनकी है चिराग मेरा। उन्हीं की बात कह रहा हूं, ज़बां मेरी है मंशा उनका। Now you think the kids can't tell the difference between my words and your words? They'll sense it like this in a second. And parents will come and give a whole lecture and they just want me to be the speaker for it. If you say they'll listen. No, the words are the same. You have to let us deal with them the way we deal with them. And you have to let us do it the way we're doing it. You coming and saying, say this to my kid and this to my kid and that to my kid and this doesn't work like this. The kid knows he's not, the kid wasn't born yesterday. These are really smart kids. They know exactly their mom and dad told us to talk to them. One guy called me one time a while back and he said, and I told him, brother, it doesn't work like this because your kid will know. So don't just trust me, I'm telling you. Say this to him and he will listen. And I said, you've been saying it to him, right? He said, yeah. Has it been working? No. I said, exactly. I said, take it easy, let us do the way we're doing it. Inshallah, if it's in the hands of Allah, it will work. So anyway, Isa alayhi salam said, قُمْ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, and the dead would rise. There is a name of Allah called Ismul A'zam. A name of Allah that if you call Allah by this name, Allah will accept any dua you make. Even if you say, Ya Allah, turn this water into gold, Allah will turn it into gold. One name of Allah, Ismul A'zam. It was such a powerful name that I believe it was Hatim ibn Abi Balta that knew it from Banu Israel. And people came to him and they said, you are the only one that can do dua against Musa alayhi salam. You know Ismul A'zam, you know Allah's name, that if you call Allah by this name, any dua gets accepted. Any dua. So he began saying it. First he said, no, I can't. And then they chucked him up and they praised him and this and that. And with that honor and following, he said, you know what, I'll do it. So when he began cursing Musa alayhi salam, Allah rolled his tongue and he began cursing himself and his entire nation. And then he lost Ismul A'zam that way. There are few people in my life that I met, when they would do dua, their dua would get accepted without this or that, just the way they did dua, the dua got accepted. There was one young boy from Malaysia. He actually texted me in the morning. He was very young. Really, really young. Maybe like proper Malaysian. Proper. And he did hifd in the madrasa. He became an alim, a qari, everything in the madrasa. He was much junior to me, 5 years junior to me. But stellar voice, beautiful voice. And he could do an Urdu nasheed and you would not be able to tell he was not a Desi kid. Yeah, this kid was talented. Had books of hadith memorized. And all we used to see him was he would come mutala time. He was young. You'd fall asleep a lot. Would you go to sleep? But he would knock out second place, third place in a class of 70 kids. And his classmates were impeccable geniuses, his classmates. Some of his classmates were geniuses. And he would come out above all of them. So one day, there were 2-3 people. We had an astronomy exam. And it was Thursday after Maghrib. The teacher, Sayyid, had come in. He had the exam papers. And under the masjid, we had a basement. And he went inside and the tables were set and the papers were being distributed. And now just like you guys have finals and you don't study, some of our finals I also didn't study. So I went and I was scared now. Exam is about to happen and I didn't touch this at all. So I went to 3 people. And he was one of those kids. And I said, do dua to Allah that Allah delays the exam. The teacher is in the exam hall, the tables are set, the papers are in his hands. First guy, second guy, third guy. Wallahi, by that time I had inside the basement, teacher Sayyid was walking up and said, exam is scheduled for next week. Okay, I'll tell you another story. There were 3 of them, right? So I knew one of these 3 dua gets accepted. But I didn't know which one. I knew one of those 3 did. One of those was from Kuwait, he left. 2 remained. It was 2010. In South Africa, there are many Darul Ulooms. I studied in Zakaria. Mufti Tosi from ICQC studied in Azadville. He graduated a year after me, but from a different institute, about half an hour, 40 minutes away. So sometimes we would go visit their ustads and their teachers, and we would spend time with those teachers. And sometimes those students would come by us and spend time with our teachers. So I went with my teacher to Azadville, met some teachers, met some people. As we were coming back to Zakaria, my teacher said to me, he said, this person came from they're talking about how 30 of their Hajis didn't get visa, yet 50 his Haji didn't, 100 his didn't, this one's visa, and they're sitting trying to get their visa. Maybe they'll get their visa or not. And then out of all the agents, the counselor calls out my name, or whoever the person was there. And they're all shocked at how this young guy's name. I was a teenager that time. So this young guy's name, I went forward, and I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. He gives me my passport, and he says, do dua for us. Open it up, the Hajj visa is there. I turn around, I said, Assalamu alaikum to that brother with the thick voice. He said, Assalamu alaikum, the Almighty gave it to me. And then I walked out. Dua is powerful. And there are some whose du'as Allah accepts immediately. Anyway, Ismul A'zam is a name of Allah. If you do dua with it, Allah will accept it. There's different opinions what is an Ismul A'zam. Some say it is Hannan. Some say it is Mannan. Some say it is Badir. Some say it is Ahad. Some say it is Samad. Some say it is Hayy. And there is every opinion of the names of Allah. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi says Ismul A'zam is the name Allah itself. However, kehne wale ke zaban par hai. It's about the one who says it. If I'm close to Amin and I say, Amin, can you go to my car? He'll listen and do it. If someone on the street tells him, he won't listen. It's that relationship with Allah. If you're close to Allah, then it's Allah. Your calling on Allah will have weight on it. And the example he gives is that Isa alayhi salam said, Qum bi idnillah, and the dead would rise. You say Qum bi idnillah, your children won't even get up for tahri. And Isa alayhi salam saying Qum bi idnillah, the dead would rise. And he say, okay, you know what, my child doesn't get for Fajr, Qum bi idnillah. You say, Mom, please, let me sleep bi idnillah. That's what the child will say. وَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ لِمَا تَأْكُلُونَ وَمَا تَدَّخِرُونَ فِي بُيُوتِكُمْ. Isa had another miracle. He could tell you what you ate, and he could tell you what was in your fridge, what you have at home. MashaAllah, some of us can also do that when we come for Isha Salah. When the brother burps, I can tell him what iftari he has. And I said, brother, I want to do miracles, inshallah, karamat one day, but this is not the karamat that I want to do through you. Take all your burps out before coming to the masjid. Brush your teeth, put some gargling on, put something on. One brother I was praying next to, he went and he burped, and I got scared. I held my breath, but then alhamdulillah the imam went into ruku'. So I was like, alhamdulillah, I went into ruku'. So when I got back up, the cloud was still there. You put us into fitna like this. وَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا تَأْكُلُونَ وَمَا تَدَّخِرُونَ. I can tell you what you had and what you keep in your home. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Indeed, there's a sign for those who believe. وَمُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيَّ مِنَ التَّوْرَاةِ وَلِيُحِلَّ لَكُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي حُرِّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ وَجِئْتُكُمْ بِآيَةٍ مِّن رَّبِّكُمْ فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونِ. And I'm here to affirm whatever you have with the Tawrat, and I'm here to permit some of the things Allah has made haram on you. Some things Allah didn't allow you to do, now I allow you to do. وَجِئْتُكُمْ بِآيَةٍ مِّن رَّبِّكُمْ. And I brought signs from your Allah. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونَ. Fear Allah and obey Him. إِنَّ اللَّهَ رَبِّي وَرَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُوهُ هَذَا صِرَاطٌ مُسْتَقِيمٌ. Indeed, Allah is my Allah, and it is your Allah. Worship Him. This is the straight path. فَلَمَّا أَحَسَّ عِيسَى مِنْهُمُ الْكُفْرَ. When Isa alayhi salam felt that there was kufr happening amongst them, he said, مَنْ أَنصَارِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. Who is going to be my helper towards Allah? قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله. The Hawariyin said, we are the friends of Allah, and we're here to help you. آمنا بالله. We believe in Allah. واشهد بأننا مسلمون. And bear witness that we are believers. ربنا آمنا بما أنزلت. We believe, O Allah, in what you have revealed. واتبعنا الرسول. And we follow your messenger. فاكتبنا مع الشاهدين. Write us amongst those who are the witnesses. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهِ. They planned and Allah planned. وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. And Allah is the best of planners. إِذْ قَالَ اللَّهُ. When Allah said, Ya Isa, O Isa, إِنِّي مُتَوَفِّيكَ. I'm going to take you in full. وَرَافِعُكَ. And I'm going to raise you إِلَيَّ, towards me in the heavens. وَمُطَهِّرُكَ مِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. And I will purify you from the disbelievers. وَجَاعِلُ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوكَ فَوْقَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. And I will make your followers above those who disbelieve till the day of judgment. ثُمَّ إِلَيَّ مَرْجِعُكُمْ. And then towards me you have to return. فَأَحْكُمُ بَيْنَكُمْ فِيمَا كُنْتُمْ فِيهِ تَخْتَلِفُونَ. Then I will decide and I will judge between you and whatever you used to disagree with each other. The Qadianis and the Qadianis, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadianis, they say over here, Allah says, Inni mutawaffika. I'm going to finish off in 5-10 minutes. I wanted to finish off 5-10 minutes ago, but because this is a very important ayah, that's the reason why I'm going to explain this a little bit. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani was a man who was a great debater in the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. He was a great prolific debater. However, he had ghurur in him and takabbur in him. And then he began claiming that he was Isa alayhi salam, then he claimed to be the Messiah, then he claimed to be the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam incarnate, then he claimed to be a Nabi, and he made a lot of claims. But he claims Nabuwa, and he claims to be a prophet after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wal-'iyadu billah. You have Musaylama Kadhab, the first man who lied. His name was Musaylama, the man to claim prophethood. And then you have Musaylama Panjab, which is Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani. This man, he has millions of followers. However, read his life and read his works. This man has written like enormous volumes of work, enormous volumes. Intellect is not the only thing that can save you. If you have arrogance on your intellect and you don't have submission, Allah will snatch Iman away from you. The way it happened to Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani. So anyway, volumes of work. It is one of my teacher's opinion that Shaitan assisted in himself with these things. Because you had thousands of scholars against him, but this man was still able to convince millions and millions. It's ajib. And the man wasn't even like, he was weird. He had an infatuation with this one girl his entire life. And he would say that if I don't get married to her, it's a clear proof that I'm not a prophet. He never got married to her. And then you go to his followers and bring the verses of his, and they say, oh no, when he says, if I don't get married, that means for my children, someone is going to marry one of her children. Okay, he was the person, he couldn't tell his right shoe from his left shoe apart. So on his right shoe, he would write dal, like R, for right foot. And L foot, on the left foot, he would write ba, or L, for left foot. However, he would still make mistakes. He once said, and he had crazy things he said. He once said that, I asked Allah to give me pregnancy so I can feel how a woman feels. So I was pregnant for a while. This is a prophet saying this thing. Okay, he says, I have a prophet. He said, Jibreel came to the Prophet ﷺ, my angel is Tichi. He comes tik se data. That's why we call him Tichi. Okay, how did he pass away? He passed away defecating inside his bed. When the Prophet ﷺ passed away, someone said, where should we bury the Prophet? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, a prophet gets buried wherever he passes away. So there was a debate between a scholar and a Qadiani, and the debate got very heated. And the scholar said, you know what? Allah made it easy for your prophet. All you have to do is flush him down the toilet. He was just defecating himself. He is the only person that says the Quran has been changed, altered. They don't believe in the same Quran. They also don't believe in Isa alayhi salam coming back. They also don't believe in a lot of tenets of Islam. And I remember in Houston 3 years ago, there was a letter sent to us that was addressed to the government from some of the people of the sect that spoke and said, we represent the true Islam and we don't represent the Islam of the bloody Messiah, meaning Isa alayhi salam. And we don't, these people that have beards and that wear these clothes, they are the threat And they're the actual problem, and a whole letter written out. We saw it, it was brought to us that, is this really true about you guys? So unfortunately, a big issue happens from people of certain ideologies. It's very important to be educated. We don't hate anybody, but we disagree with the ideology. We love every human being as an individual. However, we disagree with the ideology completely. In all capacities, we disagree with the ideology. So they say, one of their evidences is the word mutawaffi. Tawaffa in Arabic means to give death. So now, Mirza Ghulam says that, look, in the Quran it says, Inni mutawaffika, that Allah is going to give death. Allah gave death to Isa alayhi salam and He raised him. However, tawaffa doesn't only mean death. In the Quran, Allah uses the word tawaffa one more time, and it means sleep or to rest or to bring back. Like in a sleep, you're sleeping, and then Allah SWT brings you back. That is not called death. Number two, one man came to Allama Abdul Aziz Muhaddad Dahlawi, and he said, if there are two people and you need advice, one man is sleeping, one man is standing, one man is awake, which one will you get advice from? You need direction. I need to get somewhere. Do I get direction from the sleeping person or from the one who's awake? Awake? No. What he's trying to say is that Muhammad Rasulullah is sleeping in his grave, quote unquote. And Isa alayhi salam is awake in the heavens. You're saying he's awake, so you should get direction from him and not Muhammad Rasulullah. So Shah Abdul Aziz said, no, the waking man, the one who's awake, is waiting for the sleeping man to get up to get direction too. So then he brought that argument from a different angle. He said, what is better, something that's higher or something that's lower? Higher or lower, what's better? Something that's on a high status or something on a low status? He's saying Isa alayhi salam is in the heavens and Muhammad Rasulullah is in the ground. He said, therefore, Isa alayhi salam is higher. Isa Abdul Aziz said, no. He said, when you weigh something, the more valuable, the more weighty object goes to the ground, and the lighter object goes up. And therefore, Rasulullah, because they would use these type of debates to try to confuse the Muslims, because Muslims were not very educated back in the subcontinent. They were not very educated. So these small things would make people confused and say, oh no, yeah, you're right. Anyway, Allah says, I will raise you, ilayya mutahhiruka, I will profit, I will purify you from those who disbelieve. وَجَعِلُ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوكَ فَوْقَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, and I will make those who follow you above those who disbelieve, إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ, to the day of judgment. ثُمَّ إِلَيَّ مَرْجِعُكُمْ فَأَحْكُمُ بَيْنَكُمْ فِيمَا كُنْتُمْ فِيهِ تَخْتَلِفُونَ فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فَأُعَذِّبُهُمْ عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ وَمَا لَهُمْ مِنْ نَاصِرِينَ. And those people who disbelieve, we will give them a shadid adab in the dunya and the akhirah, and there is no one to help them. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَيُوَفِّيهِمْ أُجُورَهُمْ وَاللَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الظَّالِمِينَ. And those who believe and do good deeds, Allah will give them all of their rewards completely, and Allah does not like those who oppress. ذَلِكَ نَتْلُوهُ عَلَيْكَ مِنَ الْآيَاتِ وَالذِّكْرِ الْحَكِيمِ. These are the signs that we read upon you from the wise and from the full of wisdom book. إِنَّ مَثَلَ عِيسَى عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَمَثَلِ آدَمَ. The example of Isa by Allah is like Adam. خَلَقَهُ مِنْ تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ قَالَ لَهُ كُنْ فَيَكُونَ. Then He created him and He said, be, and it became. Isa is not the only one without a father. How many things did Allah create without a father in this dunya? How many? Number, give me a number. Five creatures were created on this earth without a father. Number one is Adam alayhi salam. Number two is Hawa. He didn't have a father. Number three is the camel of Salih alayhi salam. Number four is the ram of Ismail alayhi salam. Number five is Isa alayhi salam. Five were created without a father. الحق من ربك فلا تكن من الممترين. Truth is from Allah. Don't be amongst those who doubt. فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ فَقُلْ تَعَالَوْا. This is called Mubahala. There's a book called Gift for Qadianis by Mona Yusuf Bibihanwi, and he has a whole section called Mubahala. This is a debate between a Muslim and someone that is not a Muslim, and you say that whoever is lying, may Allah's curse be upon them. This is Mubahala. One time, Mona Ahmad Ali Lahori Rahmatullah alayhi told Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani that let's get on this mimbar and let's say that whoever is on the truth, let's both jump and do dua that whoever is on the truth, Allah will save them. So Mirza Ghulam backed out and he said, I'm not going to do this. So the students of Mona Ahmad Ali Lahori said, Shaykh, how do you know that Allah would protect you? He said, I didn't. But at least if I die, it's one man dying. He dies, a lot of people then will become back to Hidayah. He said, I'm taking one for the team. But he was never ready to take it. His mubahalas are really interesting and exciting. I read all of his mubahalat when I was 13 years old. The whole book of Gift for Qadianis and all of that, I was 13 when I read the whole thing. You can find the PDF online. فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ. If someone debates you after they know what's true, فَقُلْ, tell them, تَعَالَوْا, bring, نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ. We will call our children and your children and our women and your women and ourselves and yourselves. ثُمَّ نَبَتَهِلْ. Then we will do this debate, mubahala. فَنَجْعَلْ لَعْنَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَاذِبِينَ. And we will bring la'nat on those who disbelieve. إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْقَصَصُ الْحَقِّ. These are the true stories. وَمَا مِنْ إِلَهٍ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. And there is no God but Allah. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wise and He is knowledgeable. There's one thing I want to say before finishing, and that is that the Shia do not believe that because of this ayah. When this ayah took place, the Prophet ﷺ told the Christians, he said that let's do mubahala. So he had his shawl, and he had Fatima radiallahu anhu, Hassan, Hussein, and Ali radiallahu anhu in them, and then he said, I will bring la'nat on them if I'm lying. So the Shia say that, look, he didn't bring his other wives, and he didn't bring his other children, therefore his other wives were not legitimate. And number two, the Shias believe that only Fatima radiallahu anha is the child of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The others are not his children. They don't believe Zainab, Kulthum, or Ruqayya were his daughters. They believe those were his nieces. And one of their evidences is this ayah right here. However, how many people can fit in a shawl? What are you going to call the whole ummah? To come, my children, grandchildren. Now, the other cousins that you have, are they not families of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? They're also family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But this didn't show that this was the entire family. If I come and I say, my family is here, they say, oh, Mufti Wasim doesn't have anybody else but this one person over here. No. There's other people as well. But in this room, this is my family over here. Over here, right now, this is my family. Khair, inshallah. We will have the weekly class every day, 11:45 to 1:45 p.m. for this week. And then Saturdays, Sundays after Dhuhr, inshallah. The coming Saturday, at Maghrib time, the last 10 nights will begin. Inshallah, bi'idhnillah. For the men, I encourage you all to do the 10 days i'tikaf. I encourage those sisters to encourage their brothers, their sons, and their husbands to do the last 10 nights i'tikaf. The last 10 nights i'tikaf is going to be, inshallah, very, very special over here. We're going to have a lot of youth, a lot of young professionals, a lot of elders, and we anticipate it to be one of the most remarkable Ramadans we're trying to do. Inshallah, bi'idhnillah, there will be talks, lectures, dhikr, adkar, Quran, ibadah, qiyam. And the idea is that if I come over your house and I spend a few hours, you and I start getting closer. If I spend a day, we get even more closer. If I spend 10 days in your house, then I'm like family to you. Spend 10 days in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will be like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's best friend, and you will get connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For the sisters, try your best to spend as much as time as you can in the masjid. Pick a corner, sit, and just sit there with your kitab of Allah, and recite your Quran. Now, the last 10 nights, it's the end game now. Whatever it takes. Push it forward, get it done. This is it now. And before we know it, it's gone from us. Before we know it, Qiyamah is gone. Before we know it, Ramadan is going to be gone before us. So we have the last stretch. Encourage it. No more iftar dawahs. No more dawahs. You've talked to people enough. You've spoken to them enough. Now talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Put everything to the side. تِلْكَ عَشَرَةٌ كَامِلَةٌ أَيَّامٌ مَعْدُودَاتٌ. Few days for Allah. And I promise you, it is not possible to spend 10 days in the house of Allah without the love of Allah entering your heart. And if you spend the last 10 days in the house of Allah, you're guaranteed to get Laylatul Qadr. Guaranteed to get it. That is the best of all of these things, inshaAllah, bi'idhnillah. Jazakallah khair. Question? Not actual i'tikaf where they're sleeping in the masjid, but like spending time in the masjid from that aspect. Any other questions before we dismiss? Yes, brother. So now Zakaria alayhi salam, for example, he comes inside. The question is that he's a Nabi of Allah. Why would he ask his niece? No. It is, the idea of it is, لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. When Ibrahim alayhi salam said, أَرِنِي كَيْفَ تُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى قَالَ أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ. Don't you believe? قَالَ بَلَى وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. I know, but I want to comfort myself. So he comes to me and says, you're going to have a kid. How am I going to have a kid? Is it going to be adopted? Am I have to take responsibility for someone? Or is it going to be a biological child? Do me and my wife have to have relations or not? What it seems is that Zakaria alayhi salam and his wife did not have relations for this child. What it seems. Allah knows. There's a view that they did have relations. One view is they didn't, because he says, how would I know? آيَتُكَ أَلَّا تُكَلِّمَ النَّاسِ. You will not talk to people. That is your sign. That's how you'll know. So that's the idea. How will I know that this kid's going to come? Is it going to come from the top, bottom? أَنَّا يَكُونُ لِي وَلَدٍ. I don't have the capability anymore. That's where the idea is from. Anyone else? Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.